Hi, my name is Mrs. Barbara Rondo. I have been teaching at a Viewpoint Christian Academy for the past 28 years, working mostly in the ABCs of ACE as the instructor there, also in the learning centers, all of them. But I would like to begin today by introducing to you all of the manuals and materials that you'll be using in teaching your child the ABCs of ACE. This is Manual 1. Manual 2 is very much looks exactly the same. The inside is a little different. You have different letters that you'll be doing. If you open up the manual on the first page, it talks about, in Volume 1, the different letters that you will be covering. There are 6 sections. In each section, there are 3 letters and a review lesson for you to cover. These manuals cannot be written in. They must be kept as they are. Any of the pages are able to be used by making copies of them. For instance, I'll show you in one moment. In Manual 1, you have different numbers for the students to color. And you may use those sheets by making copies, by making copies of them. And you may just open it up, make a copy of whatever you want, and then return these sheets, please, to the book. Now, the next thing I wanted to let you know is you will complete the entirety of this manual and return that manual and then receive Manual 2 to work on. In these manuals, there are a number of different activities that you can choose to use, but you are not required to use everything. You can kind of pick and choose. So I'm going to tell you what I would do not totally, but how I laid out my days in learning in the Learning Center for ABCs. The first day, I would cover the first letter and sound. Let me show you some of the other materials. We have the ABCs with AC and Christie CD. It has all of the songs that you will need, which cover a bit of the story, the animal, the sound, and they're just a lot of fun to sing with the kids. And I would encourage you to be as animated as possible. Kids absolutely love it when you tell the stories, and they love it even more when you're dramatic. Little children are drama kings and queens, we know that. And so if you get a little bit overly dramatic, that's okay. It draws those kids in. So just go ahead and have fun, because the more fun you have, the more fun the kids will have. You will also receive cards like this. These are great for posting on the wall for the kids to remember each letter, because every morning you should review with your CD all of the letters you've already covered, and then stop it where you're about to begin the new sound and story. And so you would go through it, show them the letter. We usually do the letter like this in in the air for the students, and I always put the line or the smiley, I call it, and that way it helps them to differentiate. In the first grouping of letters, you'll have the 3 A sounds: A, and ah. So ape, antelope, and armadillo. And so I always place a line, a smiley, or a dot. And that helps the kids to remember in the initial phases of learning their sounds. Now, on the front of your card, you'll have the picture, the letter, the line, and on the back of the card, it actually gives you the song's words. So it'll help you as you're singing the songs a little bit. You can hold up the card, sing the song, and I like to get the kids going in the songs. Aging Ape, we make them act like an ape. So they walk around like an ape and sing the song, and it's a lot of fun. The other thing you're going to get is coloring sheets. For each animal, you'll have one corresponding coloring sheet. There are more in your book, and you can make copies of those. But these you can color, and then I usually encourage the children to put them up on their wall in their room, or we would put them up around the Learning Center. So it's a lot of fun for them, and it helps them to learn the coloring skills that they need. They do that in crayon. Also, at the very beginning of your PACE, you have let me just find that page for you. You have APE 6. That page is just a great big dotted line, straight line, letter writing page. I would encourage you to make several copies of this at the outset and let the children have a marker and write their letter as you're teaching them to write the letter in great big colorful letters. And then they can put the marking over the top of it, the straight line for ape, smiley for antelope, and a dot for armadillo, and then put those letters up and help them to remember their sounds. We're reinforcing all the time. You also have a page at the very outset in your manual that teaches you how to tell the child to sit when they're beginning to write. It's really important for them to have the proper posture, and you should know if they're dominant right or left-handed, and so it'll show you which way to have the student hold their pace or paper and work. So you will go through one lesson on this page, the sections. Section 1 is the 3 sounds of the letter A, the very first sounds the students will learn. I always took about 7 days per section, meaning for the 3 A sounds. We would do the first day, the sound and story of the letter A as in ape. And we would do part of the lesson. You have paces you'll be working with. So I would break the pace up, the word building pace up, into 2 sections and have them do, it's usually about 8 pages that they have to do per letter. And I would have them do those 8, the 8th page is a checkup to see what they've learned. But I would have them do 4 pages for the first day. So they would do their activities in the word building pace. And you'll have to instruct them every step of the way in the very beginning. And it's really pretty basic stuff. We're just learning how well they can control their pencils and their crayons. The animal science will go along with your story for each one. There are, again, the whole story will be in this book for them. They can follow each page and read along with you by looking at the pictures. You can just tell them when to turn the pages. And your story is in the book. And then they have a color, the picture of the aging ape. At the end of the aging ape, they have some activity sheets, usually 1 or 2 activity sheets at the end of each story. Follow the dotted lines, okay? So that's the animal science. You will have, those will correspond with each grouping of letters. This is for all 3 letter sounds. This is for all 3 letter A sounds. And then along with the letters, on the second day of the week, I normally reserved the Bible story for that day. We would review the animals, sounds, the songs, the sounds, the letter, and do more activities in the word building. And then we would do our Bible reading story, which is really an exciting thing. There's a story for each letter. And the first story is Abraham and Lot. Okay, so you have, again, 8 pages. It's very consistent. Nope, 6, 7, yeah, 8 pages. And you'll begin letters in this one as well. Numbers, I mean, in this one as well. You'll begin to learn the letter, not only the letters, but the beginning numbers, and they'll count and have to color 2 sheep, 3 trees, that kind of thing. The Next thing that I would do is move on to the next for the third day. That would be the next letter, then the next Bible story. Then we go on. Each Bible story has attached to it a character trait too. So it's really important. Now always remember that anything you want to use from within your manuals will have to be copied. Do not write in this book because this will be returned to the school. Thank you so much for doing that and remembering that. Now on day 6, you finished the third letter. You've done the Bible stories and reviewed your letter. Now you've got 3 letters learned, and on day 7, there's a review lesson for each grouping of letters. So these are really synopsized. Lots of questions. Questions are a great thing for you to deal with because it helps you to know how much your child is remembering and comprehending. And I want you to remember to stress that with them, that it's important for them to know, listen carefully and know. So you'll have a whole lesson. At the end of that, you'll have another character story. That will be lots of fun for them too. They really enjoy it. So just have fun with it. I want you, one of the important things for you to stress, you can choose any of the lesson particulars and utilize them. But one of the most important things for you to stress is audio discrimination, meaning that they would begin to understand the sounds and the letters and kind of connect them, okay? Memory and comprehension, you can use some of the activities in here, color them yourself, let the kids, you could even, cover them with plastic sheets and then let the kids use them for games, for memory games, and then comprehension of the stories as you show them the pictures. Always asking questions that are provided in your lesson, and you can come up with some of your own if you think you'd like to. But it's really important for you to make sure that child is understanding as you're going along. Thus, any questions you'll be able to address to Dr. Rondo. He'll pass them on to me if he needs to, and I'll be happy to help. Give you a call anytime. One of the really important things that Dr. Rondo wants you to know, and I want you to know, is that every month, Viewpoint is requiring that we have a reporting of our homeschooling groups to Viewpoint Academy. So you will submit all of the completed tests that your child has taken. Okay, so I thank you for listening, and I hope you have a lot of fun. I know that this will be a lot of fun if you can just enjoy it with your child. And God bless you all.